plus in the US. Today's event will begin shortly. As a reminder, this is being recorded. Please remember to click the participants icon at the bottom of your screen to reveal the raise hand icon in the bottom right corner. Click the hand icon if you wish to be added to our queue for questions, where we will then unmute and announce you when it is your turn. Please remember to click the hand icon again when you are finished asking questions or to be removed from the queue at any time. We will kick things off with our first athlete momentarily. Please stay tuned. welcome UFC bantamweight Sean O'Malley. Sean, thank you for the time today, sir.
Yep.
We will take the first set of questions from Keith Schillen with Sherdog.
Hey, Sean, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, Sean, thanks for taking the time. You're heading into this matchup off a loss. I know you're not willing to accept that you lost. Are you willing to accept that you've lost now, or are you still considering yourself undefeated?
Yeah, whatever you want to call
it. Okay. The leg kicks, Marlon Vera attacked you that. Have you changed anything in this camp to kind of be prepared for that?
We just prepared for another fight. We just studied Thomas's game and planned for what Thomas is going to bring to the table.
Totally understand. What do you think about Thomas as an opponent skill-wise?
I think he's an excellent opponent. I think he's got a really good record. I know he's not on the best streak right now, but he's lost to top dudes. I think he's a dangerous opponent. He's legitimate all-around martial artist. I think his striking, I think it's gonna be a sweet kickboxing fight, is what it's gonna be.
If it is a sweet kickboxing fight, you've already had some incredible knockouts in the UFC and on the Contender Series. Are you expecting another one of those highlight, sugar show type performances?
Yeah, every time I get in the octagon, I don't know if expecting it. I guess I kind of am expecting it. I think, especially with someone that's going to try to strike with me, it'll end in a sweet knockout. Yeah, I guess you could say I'm expecting a sweet knockout.
My last question to you. You got a little criticism when you on your podcast a couple months ago with the Megan Anderson thing. I know Casey Kennedy, he's apologized. Are you willing to say you just was, stupid act?
Yeah, I don't know if I said anything too bad. If it hurt her feelings, yeah, of course. That wasn't the intentions. Just some guy, just a podcast talk. She was going to do a title fight. Her mind shouldn't even. There's so many people that talk about me that it just doesn't matter. Someone else's words can't make me feel a certain way. So, maybe if I said something that hurt her feelings, yeah, I guess that wasn't our intention. It wasn't like, hey, let's try to hurt her feelings today. We're just talking with the guys, and then stuff was said. So yeah, if I hurt her feelings, I'm sorry, but I didn't think it was nothing crazy.
Understandable. Good luck to you this weekend.
Thank you.
We will take our next set of questions from Damon Martin with MMA Fighting.
Hey, Sean, your last fight, taking nothing away from Chito Vera, but obviously an injury played a big part in the way that thing played out. And obviously you had the foot injury before earlier in your career. How do you put that game, knowing, listen, injuries are part of the sport, but obviously in a fight, it makes it that much worse. You won one, but then you technically have a loss on your record that was largely because of an injury. Like, does that get in your head at all?
No, not really. Eventually I'm going to lose. I'm not worried about not losing. I do jiu-jitsu with some really good people. I train with really good people. I lose in the gym. Losing's not that big of a deal, really. If I lose, one of these days I'm going to lose a fight, and hopefully it's not going to be due to an injury. It's going to be however it ends, and it's going to be fine. But the way I lost that last fight wasn't because he was a better fighter. He was more skilled. How many leg kicks have been thrown from when that happened till now, and how many times has that happened where you got drop foot? He didn't take me down. My leg completely gave out, and I landed on my back. So, yeah, it happened like that. It is what it is, but it doesn't affect me going into this fight at all. I'm in my mind 12-0, coming off the Eddie fight, and I'm in a good spot. I'm mentally in a really good spot. So yeah, I feel good.
It sounds like you're excited for the matchup with Thomas Almeida, but was there any part of you that wanted to run it back with Chito just to kind of settle things?
No, I feel like I already beat his ass. I might as well give Eddie a rematch too. So if it happens, if I'm champ and he's the number one contender, it'll run it back. I think he already went on record saying there's not enough money in the world to fight Sean O'Malley again. I was terrified or something like that. So I don't think if that'll happen again. If it does, it's because I'm champ and he wants wants to get the belt, but I don't. We'll see.
You said, and I know we've talked about this in past interviews, that you've kind of embraced the attention and the the things that you get going into fights, and then you've kind of embraced becoming a star. But that also comes along with a lot of expectations, and it seems like that some people can't handle that. Now you seem to handle it very well. But how is that going into this fight? Obviously, there's going to be high expectations. Can Sean bounce back? How is he going to look after that last one with the injury and things like that? Like, do you embrace that pressure?
Yeah, I mean, I truly don't feel it. I don't think like that. I don't even, the only time that ever even comes to my mind is when you guys ask me that question is, so I'm going in there. I already put in the work. Whatever happens Saturday night is going to happen. So I just let it flow. My expectations of what's going to happen is, we'll see. I plan on going in there and taking him out and winning. So if that doesn't happen, I live to fight another day. It's not the end of the world. I just had a baby girl and I have the best wife back home. Got good friends. Like, losing a fight to me it's not a big deal. And I know I got a lot of criticism for handling my last loss. But it's just because you guys ask me questions and I answer it. They say, you guys ask me how I feel. I'm like, I feel undefeated. Then you guys say, be yourself. And I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm undefeated. And they're like, no, don't be yourself. Act like you can handle a lot, so it's and then I say you guys, I don't mean you, obviously, just the people in general, but I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, I'm ready to go, baby.
Yeah. Last one. Obviously, Thomas Almeida is a very quality opponent. He's fought a lot of good guys, but I remember you telling me before, you were ready for the higher ranked guys in the division earlier, and you just didn't get those guys. Assuming everything goes well on Saturday and you get a win over Thomas Almeida, are you still, like, at this point, are you thinking, hey, I do want those guys. I want them to give me the Cody Garbrandts, the Rob Fonts, the guys that I know you wanted to fight. They just didn't give you those matchups.
To be honest, like, I haven't thought about it. Talking to Tim too. It was like, who should we have next? And it's like, it doesn't matter. We didn't even come up with a name. We don't even have any ideas. Saturday, March 27th is literally the only date on my mind right now. Thomas is literally the only opponent on my mind right now. The UFC is going to come to me after this fight and offer me whoever they offer me. I think if I get a sweet knockout like I plan on doing, I could probably call out someone. It probably won't be right after the fight. We'll go back and see who's, there's a lot of people that have fights coming up right now. So it's hard to say with the division right now how it's playing out. There's a bunch of fights going on. I'm pretty focused on Saturday.
Thanks, Sean.
Yep, thank you.
Set of questions from Cote Cruz with 4-to-Win MMA.
Hey, Sean, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Well, thank you for being here today. We've witnessed some special moments in the cage when the fighter isn't in there for more than himself, when there's a daughter or a son in the back in the fighter's mind. You recently became a father. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I'd love to know, how are you adapting to this? How has fatherhood affected your current approach to fighting?
Honestly, like, before I had a baby, I'd go in the cage and I wanted to win, not for anyone other than myself. And I'm going in. I want to win because I want to win. I want to compete because I want to compete. I'm not going in there because I had a baby. I'm not going in there and trying to win more because I had a baby. I want to win every time I step in there. Every time I spar, I want to win. Every time I do anything, I want to win for myself. And I think that's important, that I'm not doing it for anyone else other than myself. So the day that I'm fighting just for Elena or whoever else is a dangerous day. I'm fighting for myself because I love this shit, and that's just, it is what it is. But having a baby has been amazing. I don't even know how to explain it. It's been amazing. Other than that.
Well, congratulations on that. After your last fight, how was the process of going back to the drawing board with your team at the MMA lab?
Yeah, that last fight, I mean, I had a good training camp, had a good everything. I didn't lose that last fight because I didn't do something right. I was pulling out from a kick, which is, either you check a kick or you get out of the way from the kick. And I was getting out of the way, and his big Ecuadorian toe hit me in the nerve. So going back, to the drawing board is the same. We always pretend like we lost that fight. It's time to get better. We have to improve. And there's no issue with that. Tim doesn't have to fucking call me and say, hey, you need to come practice. I'm at the gym. We're training. It's constant improvement. There's I trained with Kyler Phillips, Mario Batista, Casey Kenny, a bunch of up-and-coming guys, Tanquino, like a bunch of guys in my weight class that are world-class, that if I'm not getting better, I'm going to go to the gym and get smoked. So getting better is not an issue. Like, we're constantly doing that.
You're facing Thomas Almeida this Saturday. He was at one point a highly praised prospect. He was one of the hottest prospects of the division. He's coming off 3 consecutive losses. And I wanted to know, what kind of Thomas do you expect to show up on Saturday night? Do you feel he might be even more dangerous with his back against the wall as he is now in terms of latest results?
Yeah, that's the question. That's the question that we're going to see. Is he going to be? I don't know. I think coming off 3 losses and then you're fighting Sean. It's like, that sucks for him. That's a terrible matchup. That's not a good person to be fighting off 3 losses, or any record. It doesn't matter. But to have 3 losses and have to fight me, it sucks. It's not fair to him, but it is what it is.
Well, you recently signed with Vayner Sports, a talent agency linked to the one and only Gary Vaynerchuk. Now you join guys like Stipe, Tony Ferguson, Uriah Faber, or Vitor Belfort under Vayner Sports banner. Can you comment on how this came to be, and how do you think that you'll feel what do you feel the future holds for this relationship?
Yeah, I sat down with a bunch of different managers, managing teams and everything. Had interviews, had Zoom calls, had lunches, and they all promise the same thing. We can make you a lot of money and take care of you. They all say that, and some of them can, some of them can't. And Gary, we had a Zoom call, and he got me fired up, and we'll see. Yeah, we're gonna see how it turns out. It's still early. It was a month ago or whatever we signed, so we'll see how it plays out. I'm excited. I'm optimistic about the relationship. I think it's gonna go really well. I think a lot of it depends on what I can go and do Saturday night. Me winning big fights and winning in spectacular fashion makes their job easier to go and get money for me. So that's, at the end of the day, it's how much money can they make me. The more money they make me, the more money I make them. So we'll see where it goes.
Well, best of luck on that too, and best of luck on the fight on Saturday, Sean. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks.
We will take our last set of questions from Jordan Ellis with Low Kick MMA.
Hi, Sean. I just want to ask you about the undefeated mentality. Has that been like a kind of a mantra you've had during camp, or is that just something when people ask you the question, that's your answer?
It's just where I'm at in my career right now. I just feel like, if we would have went out there and I lost the decision, I wouldn't say I'm undefeated. It makes no sense. If I go out there and he TKOs me without me falling on my back because my ankle gave out, I'd say I'm 12-1. I have no problem with losing. It's just the fact that how it happened, and now we're at this spot, and I got asked a bunch, and I feel like I'm undefeated. I don't feel like I was beat because he was better than me, or his skills, or I did something wrong, or I didn't prepare in a certain way. So yeah, I think I'm mentally undefeated in my mind because I haven't lost. That's as simple as that.
And just going off the back of that, so in camp, based off the last camp, has nothing changed despite the loss?
Yeah, no, nothing changed. That fight camp against Cheeto was awesome. It was fantastic. I was in great shape. I was excited to go. I was expecting to go at a 2 decision with Cheeto. I was, I wanted the knockout. I really believed I could get it, but he's tough. He's a tough guy. And I was ready for 15 minutes, and I had great camp. So I was prepared to go 15 minutes. But I've had another great camp, this camp, great sparring. And so I'm ready to go.
And talking about Thomas Almeida, we hadn't seen him for a while before his last fight. I just want to ask you, did you see his last fight, and what did you make of the performance?
Yeah, he fought that southpaw. What was his name? That kid he fought.
He lost the other day, didn't he?
I forget, but the kid he fought was really good. He was a good kickboxer, southpaw. And Thomas got beat up, and I feel like I'm gonna do the same thing to him, but I'm gonna put his lights out. So yeah, I think I'm gonna put his lights out.
And just finally, I want to ask you, what's going on with the hair? Are we back to rainbow colours now?
Kinda. We'll see.
Okay, good luck with the fight, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sean. That's all the time we have for you, sir.
Perfect. Thanks.
We will momentarily be joined by our next athlete, UFC bantamweight Thomas Almeida. We now welcome UFC bantamweight Thomas Almeida. Thomas, thank you for the time today, sir.
Thank you.
We will take the first set of questions from Augusto Niesgue with Somos MMA.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Thomas, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm good, man. And you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thomas, Sean O'Malley has said that people should bet on you so they don't make him responsible if they lose their money. Do you think he's maybe too confident for this fight and underestimating you?
I think it's part of his mental game, but this is not gonna affect me for sure.
Okay, and
it's funny.
Yes, and he has also said that he thinks this fight will be a kickboxing match because if you try to wrestle with him, you will gas out and you won't be able to take him down. So, what do you think about that? And which type of fight are you expecting for Saturday night?
Man, I'm ready for everything. You know, I'm ready to wrestle. I'm ready to submit him, to knock him out. I'm ready for anything.
And if you have to choose a possible outcome of the fight, what would it be? A KO, a submission?
Oh man,
what would you
I'm
like?
a striker. I'm a striker. I always go for the knockout.
And what do you need to be careful about Sean O'Malley on the fight?
I think the long reach, you know, the distance, it's super important to control the distance because he has long legs and long arms. So I'm gonna use it against him.
Okay, and Thomas, you're currently in a 3-fight skid with the company. I want to ask you: do you feel any extra pressure considering that the UFC is letting go athletes in a situation similar to yours?
No, because of course I always put pressure on myself to win, and this is not going to be different. You know, I want to win. I'm going to go there winning. There is pressure on this, and like all the fights, you know.
Awesome. And my last question: we're going to have a huge main event with Stipe and Francis Ngannou. So I would like to ask you, what do you think about that fight? Who will win that fight for the heavyweight title?
Oh man, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be, I don't know, man. I think I go for Stipe.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
It's kind of hard to say.
Yes, it's a hard decision. It's a hard decision if you ask me. So okay, Thomas, thank you very much and good luck on Saturday, man.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it.
We will take the next set of questions from Pablo Santamaria with Noti MMA Ecuador.
Hi, Thomas. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. And you?
Everything is okay. Thanks for asking. Okay, the first thing I want to ask you is, do you think that calf kicks or leg kicks are going to be an important factor to get the victory against Sean?
I think yes. It's a good way to open up him and for me to put my hands on him, you know. And I think it's a very important part of the game plan.
For sure. You're fighting on a very tough division in the UFC. So if you get the victory against Sean, do you have an opponent in your mind? Maybe against a fight with Chito?
No, man. I'm super focused on O'Malley right now. And after the fight, we can discuss about that. But right now, it's 100% on O'Malley.
Okay. What's your prediction for the fight?
The prediction of the fight, man. I have 3 rounds, man. 3 rounds to show all my skills, and that's exactly what I want to do. You know, enjoy and hurt him for 15 minutes.
Okay, and the last thing for me is, would you like to send a message to your Ecuadorian fans?
For the fans from Ecuador, man, I hope you are rooting for me, because I'm gonna bring this victory. I'm gonna represent the Latin America for sure. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Thomas, and good luck on the fight.
Thank you, my friend.
We will take the next set of questions from Ryan McCarthy with Low Kick MMA.
Thomas, how's it going, man? Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, so can we just get your thoughts on Sean O'Malley as an opponent overall?
Sorry, say again?
your thoughts on Sean O'Malley as an opponent overall.
Oh yeah, I think he's a talented guy. You know, he has some good skills, good kicks, but I'm gonna use it against him.
And what's the ideal 2021 look like for you, Thomas? Is there a certain amount of fights you're trying to get in this year?
Man, I would love to fight, to have as many fights as I can. Like, I don't know, maybe 3 fights in this year. You know, if I'm healthy, because this is important, you know, no injuries. And I would love to fight 3 times this year.
Awesome. And you're in a stacked bantamweight division, man. Do you think it's the best in the sport?
Yeah, well, one of the most, you know.
For sure. Well, thanks for your time. We look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Best of luck, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate your attention.
We will take the next set of questions from Keith Schillen with Sherdog.
Hey, Thomas, how you doing?
I'm good, man. And you?
I'm excellent. So I wanted to bring you back to you're coming off 3 losses, but what changes are you making so that you'll get your hand raised this time?
Man, you know, I had a long layoff. I've been through a lot of difficult stuff, and I didn't stop training. I adapted myself. I adapted my game. I adapted my skills, and I've been competing a lot in the jiu-jitsu tournaments and stuff like that. And next Saturday is gonna be a fun night.
Your opponent, he just talked to us. He predicted a kickboxing matchup, but you just mentioned that you've been taking some jiu-jitsu tournaments. What do you think the chances are we see more Thomas Almeida on the ground?
No, man. I'm going to the tournaments to keep the competition time, you know. But I'm ready for everything, you know. I'm ready to go to the ground. I'm ready to wrestle him. I'm ready to strike with him. That's why my goal is to be a complete MMA fighter. You know, evolve as a MMA fighter.
My last question: for a long time, you were the young guy on the scene, the hot prospect. Now the roles are kind of reversed. He's the hot prospect, and you're the seasoned vet. Are you looking at that as an advantage?
Definitely. That's a good one, man. I have all the skills, you know, and now I have the mindset. I'm more experienced, so I have to go in there and have fun.
Thank you for your time. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much, Thomas. That is all the questions we had for you, sir. We appreciate
Okay. Thank you very much.
We will momentarily be joined by our next athlete, UFC light heavyweight Alonzo Menifield. We now welcome UFC light heavyweight Alonzo Menifield. Alonzo, thank you for the time today, sir.
Hey.
We will take the first set of questions from Keith Schillen with Sherdog.
Hey, Alonzo, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. First thing I got to get to, the news broke today that you're not fighting William Knight anymore. You're now fighting Fabio Cherant. How do you feel about that matchup?
Oh, man, I was a little worried that William Knight has dropped out. Now that I'm fighting, who am I fighting? I'm happy, but I feel great about the matchup. I think it'll be a good match. I'm ready to take this dude on.
Now, one thing about your team is known for great preparation. You got one of the best coaches. Like, how much pressure on those guys now to kind of change the game plan and figure out a new opponent?
Man, we practice everything, so the pressure isn't there. So I'll take this approach, and I guess we'll figure that out when we get to it Saturday night.
Yeah. Talk about William Knight for a second. That's twice now that you've been scheduled to fight William Knight. It fell apart, I believe, twice now during fight week. Is that fight just cursed? Is that it must be frustrating to train for a guy twice now and not actually get to face him.
Right. I mean, it's been a long camp, so I would like to face him. But yeah, I'm not frustrated. This day and age, everything is unpredictable, and I'm like, hey, it is what it is. So I'm getting accustomed to it.
Sure. Sure. My last question to you: your last two fights didn't go the way you wanted to. I know one thing that you always say is, you got to learn from your losses. So tell us, what have you learned that we expect to see, the best Menifield moving forward?
Man, just have fun in there, be loose, and my preparation would basically speak for itself. So, yeah, I'll show that Saturday.
All right. Good luck to you, man.
Thank you.
We will take the next set of questions from Jordan Ellis with Low Kick MMA.
Hi, Alonzo.
Hey.
Hey, I just want to ask you about the whole process of finding out that, William's out and you've got a new opponent. You found out with the rest of us, or did you get a bit of a heads up at least?
I found out with the rest of y'all. Nah, I got a little bit of a heads up. I was worried, panicky, because, I was like, dude, I'm out here second time. Come on, let's get something. And, they gave me an opponent right away. And I said yes. He said yes. And I'm like, I'm thankful. So it is what it is. I'm happy.
And what do you make of the opponent? I know you haven't had long, but have you had the chance to, take a look at some of his fights or anything like that?
Yeah, I looked at him. He's southpaw. I think he's a good fighter overall. Things I think I can get him at.
And what changes for you now in terms of, fight night?
What changes?
Yeah.
Nothing really. Same game plan. Maybe instead of William Knight grabbing me, I'll go grab him. Yeah, I'll be the William Knights.
Good luck with it, man. Can't wait to watch.
All right, man. Thank you.
We will take our next set of questions from Gavin Porter with UFC.com.
Just three for me, man. You can still just look right here. First of all, what kind of lessons do you take away from, fighting a guy like OSP who has tons of experience, and did you learn something about yourself in that particular fight?
I realize skills is important as well as, being in shape. So I combine those two. And just when you get ready for a fight, you just got to have a fighter's mindset. And that's something I worked on, for months now. And that's what I'll take with me. So I got a fighter's mindset.
You were fairly raw coming into the UFC. We've kind of seen you grow up over the last year and a half with wins and a few setbacks. What's been the best part about being in this UFC journey of yours so far? And you're still very young in your career, obviously, but what's been the best part for you?
Man, for me, it's just been overcoming. Because, before this was, minor me overcoming stuff in life. But, now since the surgery, the dropping of the balls with the 2 losses of 2020, I'm like, man, I can come from that. Then, I can do anything. So I'm like, yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah, and when you fight a guy like this, who you really, obviously, you don't have a full camp in, let alone 24 hours in for this new fight. Is that kind of a pressure off your shoulders almost in a way? Like, you're not fighting a name, you are really just fighting a body at this point. And that's kind of something, a mentality that you like to approach your financial training, right?
Right. And, let's be honest. Like I said, fighter's mindset. So with that said, it's a difference when you know you have a fight and when you don't. So I commend my opponent for accepting the fight, but, he's just got to understand it's a fighter's mindset. It's a different level.
Yeah, my last one is, people might not know who he is because he's going to be making his UFC debut, but people do know who you are. Why should fans of yours and fans that might not be aware of him tune in for this particular fight on Saturday?
Because if you're looking to be entertained, then here it is. I'm here to entertain. That's what I am, an entertainer. I come in left.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Alonzo. That is all the time we have for you, sir.
All right, cool.
We will momentarily be joined by our next athlete, UFC lightweight Khama Worthy. We now welcome UFC lightweight Khama Worthy. Khama, thank you for the time today, sir.
Thanks. No problem.
We will actually take the first set of questions from Gavin Porter with UFC.com.
Yeah, it's me to start, man. You just still look right here.
Cool.
So first off, back at it, man. How are you feeling heading into this fight week? After the goal.
I'm feeling good, man. Anxious to just get near and have some fun and let it go.
Yeah, and do you take anything away from that last performance? You go back in the training camp in the process of the fight week, you kind of make some adjustments to come back in this one and get back on track?
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much you can do with like a fight that's that short and the way it happened and stuff. So, I mean, like a couple of mistakes you make and then you just kind of deal with it and you move on.
Yeah, and you seem like one of those type of guys who dealt with that adversity before, and you come back, you're going to be better than we've ever seen you. When you're kind of getting back into the swing of things, what's the message from your coaches and everyone to help you get back?
My head coach, Dave Sachs, he just kept telling me, he goes, dude, listen, he's like, you can't overthink losses. Like, you can't overthink the preparation, how it is. He goes, like, one wrong tweak and the fight goes the opposite direction. So we just took it with that and kind of went with it.
Yeah, and just tell me a little bit about the matchup. What makes this fight exciting for you?
He's an exciting style fighter. I mean, like, he definitely comes to fight. He's a former rugby player, so those guys are higher and they're a little loco. They enjoy danger a little bit more than most. So I think it's going to be a real fun fight and fan-friendly fight.
Yeah, his style, if you go back and watch that Brad Riddell fight, for example, he's another one of those guys that likes to stand and bang and really gritty. Is that the kind of fight that you like?
I'm a mixture. I mean, I can do everything. I mean, I can stand and bang with you. I can outpoint you, but look for precision punches and stuff. I kind of do everything. That's kind of the thing. People always think I really hit hard because I have a lot of knockouts. I'm not really a knockout player. I don't really swing big punches. I'm just precise in what I do.
Yeah, last one for me is, pay-per-view card. You're up on it. How does that feel?
Normal. I mean, like, it doesn't. Everyone's gonna ask me. I'm like, I don't think it's still I mean, if it was a UFC card and they're like, okay, you're the first card on the prelims that no one's allowed to watch, but you're still fighting the UFC, they might show it's still a UFC fight for me. So even though I'm like on the pay-per-view now, I mean, like, my first fight was on a huge pay-per-view with Stipe and stuff. So I mean, I was a prelim main event on the prelims for my first fight. I was 2 main event prelims and then I was a co-main event. So I mean, this is kind of like, it's just part of the game. I just run with it.
All right, great, man. We can hear fight on Sunday.
Great.
We will take the next set of questions from Ryan McCarthy with Low Kick MMA.
Hey, Khama, how's it going? Can you hear me all right?
Great, man. I can hear you.
Good. Can we just get your thoughts on Jamie as an opponent overall?
I think he's a really dangerous opponent. I mean, he's 0-2 in the UFC, so that makes him really dangerous. Once you push someone into the corner and you tell him they have to come out, he's going to come out swinging. I expect him to come out swinging. He's super tough. So that type of training camp has always been hard. Like, you have to really prepare yourself mentally for what you're going to get into, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. And, this is our first time seeing you this year in 2021. Is there a certain number of fights you're trying to get in this year at all, or trying to stay active?
No, again, I keep telling people, I turned 35 in October. I don't have a lot of time left doing this. Like, I'm realistic. At 155, you can't be 40 years old fighting at 155. Like, it's just at this weight class in this sport, it's a young man's sport. So I'm trying to get as many fights in as possible. So I'd like to get in at least like 4 fights this year, 4 or 5. I mean, like, as long as I'm healthy, I can fight. My girl probably hates that because she's like, we're supposed to be buying a house, but I've been postponing. We're supposed to be going on vacation, which I've been postponing. But I mean, like, I'm here for a short period of time, and I want to make the best of it.
For sure. And, it was mentioned before, you're on a big card, big rematch, MIOCIC NGANNOU. Can we get a prediction for you or your thoughts on that fight?
So Stipe's tri-state boys from Ohio. No, me and Stipe fought on we came up through the same local scene, NAAFS in Ohio and stuff, way back when. So I'm definitely a big fan of Stipe. He used to train with my old training partner, Adam Milstead. He used to fight in the UFC. They used to train together all the time. I don't think anyone's stopping Francis Ngannou right now. I mean, again, I think it's a young man's sport, and I think Stipe's had one hell of a run as king. It's been amazing, most title defensive heavyweight ever. But I think the times are about to change. I think Stipe's taking over. Francis is going to take over.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time, man. Best of luck on Saturday. Really look forward to seeing you.
Thank you.
We will take our next set of questions from Keith Schillen with Sherdog.
Hey, Khama, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Excellent. Thanks for asking. Let me ask you this question. How much do you study your opponent?
A lot. I mean, I study fighters in general. I'm always stealing stuff from people. I mean, I watch probably every fight. I watch kickboxing. I mean, there's a lot of MMA fighters that don't watch kickboxing. I don't understand why. I mean, that's such a big part of our sport. But I mean, I watch every fight you can think of. So yeah, I do a lot of studying on opponents.
Yeah, I figured that the way you were talking, you were breaking down the fights pretty well. So let me ask you this. I'm assuming you watched your opponent's last fight. Do you think he should have got his hand raised? I thought he won that fight.
I thought he won the fight, but I can also see why some judges, the ending, you know how judges are already ending the fight. He lost the third round, the last round. He looked like he was desperately begging for takedown. The guy was jacking him over the elbows. The guy was good for person down on top of him. And maybe they think he wasn't assertive enough to try to finish the fight. The other guy was trying to finish the fight more. So it all depends on, but I gave him that last fight.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. Another question I want to ask you. I hear people breaking down this fight. A lot of people are saying striker versus grappler, and that's surprising to me because the last time I saw someone try to take you down, you submitted them. Do you think your grappling's being overlooked?
Dude, I come from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Do you know how good the wrestlers we have out there? There's black belts everywhere. Everyone's fucking ears are all jacked up and shit. So I know how to grapple. I know how to wrestle. I mean, I just choose not to. If you've knocked a person unconscious, you'll try to knock a person unconscious every opportunity you get.
My last question for you. I appreciate the time. What's your official prediction for the fight?
Violence. That's what I try to predict for all my fights. Violence, A-class violence, man. You're going to come out there, you're going to see some straight-up violent stuff.
Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the time, Khama. That is all the questions we had for you, sir. Sorry. One person just put their hands up. We can get to you a little bit longer.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
So, McDonough, did you want to ask questions, sir? All right, false alarm, Khama. Okay, we appreciate the time, sir. We now welcome UFC lightweight Jamie Mullarkey. Jamie, thank you for the time today, sir.
Thank you.
We will take the first set of questions from Keith Schillen with Sherdog.
Hey, Jamie, how are you?
Good, mate.
First question I'm going to ask you, the same question I just asked your opponent. Going back to your last fight, I thought you won. A lot of people thought you won. Do you still believe you won?
I do. Like, I've kind of put it behind me now because there's no point talking about it, but I believe I won, and I think the majority of people that saw that fight believe I won as well.
Sure. I think that's a good attitude to put it behind you. That said, you want to learn so the next time it goes to judges, you get your hand raised. What have you learned so when you're in a close fight like that you'll win?
100%. The biggest learning curve of that fight was just giving that little bit of more incentive to finish the fight. Don't let it go in the hands of these judges because it's just that sometimes you just get the wrong end of a bad call.
Yeah. Now let's talk about your opponent this Saturday, Khama Worthy. How do you feel like you match up with him?
I think I match up really well with him. It's going to be a tough fight. I know that. And I think I'm that little bit more versatile. I think I've got a little bit more well-rounded skill set. But it's going to be a cracker. And like I said, styles make fights. And I think this is going to be a really good matchup for me.
Sure. And my last question is, what is your official prediction for the fight?
A second-round finish.
Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
We will take our next set of questions from Gavin Porter with UFC.com.
That's me, Ben, but just still look right here.
Sweet.
So first of all, I know a lot of people are very excited to see you back in action here. What's it been like for you to get to the United States and, get through the COVID protocols and get ready to fight this week?
It's been tough, man. This COVID, at all the obstacles that you have to get over to make a fight, you got to make the weight, you got to train without injury, you got to get to the fight healthy. But this is just another obstacle. So we've been lucky. I'm counting my lucky stars that everything's gone okay for me, and we'll be ready on Saturday night.
Yeah, when there's that much kind of adversity in the lead up to the fight, just things you're kind of hyper aware of. Does that take away from preparation at all, or are you still able to kind of come in with a clean mindset?
No, the mindset never changes. My eyes are on the prize at all times. It's just another little hurdle that you have to overcome.
For fans that have never seen you, what do you pride yourself in as a fighter? Like, what do you want to be known for? What you bring to the octagon?
I pride myself on my work ethic and my excitement. I've got an exciting fight style, which we'll show on Saturday night.
Yeah, and Khama's kind of the same. He kind of made a splash in his debut, short notice fight, gets knocked over to Devonta Smith, and then now he kind of has his first setback, but he's still a guy that people have their eyes on as a prospect. Do you think the chance of you potentially getting some of his hype will benefit you going forward in 2021?
I'm not really thinking about that. I'm thinking about me. So maybe it will. If it does, all good. But it's more the fight that I'm focused on.
All right, and last one for me is, if you walked in there, and what kind of performance would you be proud of? What do you want to display in terms of your skills and what you possess on Saturday?
I want to leave something that's going to make the fans be remembering my name, which that's always the plan for me. I want to finish the fight in devastating fashion.
Great, man. We'll can't wait to see you in action on Saturday.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jamie. That looks like all the questions we had for you, sir. We appreciate it.
Sweet.
We will momentarily be joined by our next athlete, UFC welterweight Vicente Luque. We now welcome the number 10 ranked UFC welterweight contender in the world, Vicente Luque. Vicente, thank you for the time today, sir.
Hey, thank you, guys.
We will take the first set of questions from Jim Varsalone with the Miami Herald.
Thank you. I was curious, how did the training go for you, and were you training at Sanford MMA for the fight?
Yeah, so for this training camp, I decided to stay in Brazil at Cerrado MMA. It's the other team I'm part of. And even though I was training in Brazil, I'm always in touch with the guys at Sanford. I'm always in touch with Henry Hooft and Gilbert Burns. They're always, helping me out with this. And they also talk to my coach back in Brazil with Daniel. They're gonna be cornering me for this fight. And it was a great training camp. I feel really good, really ready for this fight, and can't wait for Saturday night.
You mentioned Gilbert, so Gilbert will be in your corner, and you were in his corner when he fought Usman. What's it like, just that dynamic of you guys when you're able to train together, and just helping each other out and cornering each other?
Yeah, that's something that it has been, really important for both of us in our career. We train with each other. We really know each other's style. So that helps a lot when we're cornering each other. That fight, it's different when I have a coach that is telling me something to do, and when I have a fighter that is telling me something to do. Gilbert can give me instructions that are much more simplified, and he already knows what the kind of things that fit my style and that I could do against my opponent. And the same thing when I'm cornering him, I know the right things that I got to tell him, and they're going to work right away. So that's really important. And also, he's an ace in the ground game and jiu-jitsu. And, I have some really good striking. So that's how we also help each other out. I kind of make his striking better. He makes my grappling better. And we try to help each other out.
During this whole pandemic, everything has changed so much with training. Have you been to Sanford MMA since it became Sanford MMA, that really beautiful facility and training center they have there? And if you have, what have you thought about it?
Yes, I have been there. At the end of last year, I was about 1 month over there training, and it's a beautiful facility. They accomplished something amazing over there. I think there is nothing like it, in MMA. And yeah, it's an honor to be part of that team, to be able to train with such high-level guys, high-level coaches. And now with that great facility, we couldn't ask for anything else.
And lastly, for me, just your thoughts on the fight coming up, and when you get the victory, where does the victory take you? What is the next step in getting this victory?
Yeah, the expectations for this fight are really good. I feel super ready, and I think it's going to be an action-packed fight. Every single fight of mine, I bring the aggressiveness, the action, and that's what I'm going to do in this one. I see a finish for myself. I don't know if it's going to be a submission or a knockout, but I do see myself finishing this fight. And all the focus is here right now. I can't tell you who I'm going to fight next, because I first got to beat Woodley. But beating a former champion, I think, is going to set me up for great things.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will take our next set of questions from Colin Crandall with the MMA Power Hour.
Hey, Vicente, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Excellent. Good to talk to you, my friend. We spoke on my show about 6 months ago. I really appreciate your time and really excited for you for this matchup. It's an interesting one for you. This is probably the most pure wrestling-based opponent you will have faced. And can you tell me, have you spent a lot of time focusing on wrestling for this camp? I believe over the years you've been doing that more and more, but what's been your focus as far as wrestling and your thoughts about facing an opponent who's a little bit different than past opponents?
Yeah, definitely. It's one of the toughest opponents I'm going to face to this day. And it's a little bit different, right? He's not a striker. He's more of a wrestler. And I think that's really good for me, because looking up the division, there are a lot of wrestlers. So I think it's the kind of test I need right now to get to that next level. And I've been working a lot on my wrestling. Back in Brazil, we have a Cuban coach. He used to be from the national team in Cuba, and Cuba has one of the best wrestling in the world. So, I'm really confident that I've been improving a lot in this aspect, and I'm going to be ready for Saturday night.
Absolutely. Now, I know Gilbert is your friend and training partner, and some people who may not be that knowledgeable would just think, well, do exactly what Gilbert did. But you're different fighters, but is there something you can take from that match that he had? Because that was the most recent, I think, for Tyron, and it kind of shows the level that Tyron is at compared to where he used to be. So are there some things you can take from what your friend was able to accomplish against him?
Yeah, like you said, we got different styles, but I think the pressure that Gilbert put on his fight is something I can take from that. Naturally, I'm a pressure fighter. I do always look to fight forward, to put pressure against my opponents. And I saw that when Gilbert fought Tyron, that was something that Gilbert did, and it paid off. It worked really well. So I figured that I can do that as well. It's all already in my style, and it's something that I plan to do.
Absolutely. Last question for me. You have a lot of confidence in your chin and your ability to take a punch, and I think that's one of the things that puts you at the great level that you're at, is that you're not afraid to stand and jump into the fire. One of the things that Tyron always had was that big right hand, and I've heard some media people say, man, if Vicente just doesn't even respect that punch at all and is just smiling and ready to take that punch, maybe it's not going to be such a smart thing. What's your thought on that, just trading with Tyron?
Yeah, I mean, I know that I have a hard chin, but I'm not trying to put it out there and just get punched for free. There's no reason why I would like to receive that right hand. Tyron Woodley can hit really hard, so the plan is not to be there. I want to close my guard or move my head away from that. But at the same time, that chin gives me the confidence to put myself in positions where I can, be aggressive. I can bring the striking, and pressure him with that striking and not be that worried about what he's going to bring, because not only my chin, but I also have, a defense. I have head movement. I have good skills that kind of give me the confidence that where I can strike and not be so worried that I got to defend myself and not open up. I feel comfortable to open up my striking and do what I got to do. And in the worst case scenario, hopefully I'm going to have the chin to take it, but that's not the first plan. I'm not going to hold his punch only with my chin.
Excellent. Glad to hear that. Well, I'm excited. Can't wait to see the action, and I'm sure you're going to do very well, man. You go do what you do. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We will take the next set of questions from Sue McDonough with Sportskeeda.
Okay.
Vicente, welcome back, and I hope you're doing well. So you're facing a former division champion in Tyron Woodley this weekend, who is almost in a must-win situation right now. That being said, what sort of fight are you expecting this weekend, and what do you think Woodley brings to the table, knowing that his back is against the wall after 3 straight losses?
Yeah, I mean, Woodley is not in his best moment. He's coming off 3 losses. But I always like to say, I mean, he lost to the 3 best in the world, the number 1, 2, and the champion. So there is no way that you can say that he's done. I don't see him like that. I think he's a very dangerous fighter. And I think he wants to go back to the winning, to go get back to that winning column. And that's what I see, a Woodley that is going to try to get a big win over me and step right back to eventually fight for a title. And that's what I'm ready for the best Woodley. I want to face the best Woodley so that I can show my potential, show that I'm here to become a champion as well. And yeah, I mean, I cannot underestimate this guy, no way.
And for you, you're ranked at number 10 at the moment, but where do you think a win puts yourself or puts you in the division?
Yeah, I think a win over Woodley right now is going to set me up to fight somebody in the top 5. I think that's a big thing. But my focus is on this fight. I cannot say a name. I don't know who I'm going to face after this. But definitely a win over a guy that has been the champion is going to set me up for great things.
Sumik, did you have another question, sir? Okay, we will move on. We will take the next set of questions from Cote Cruz with For to Win MMA.
Hola Vicente, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, estoy bien.
Te saludo desde Santiago de Chile. Un gusto poder conversar contigo hoy día.
Mucho gusto. Qué bueno saber que hay gente ahí en Santiago mirando.
Somos pocos los que estamos haciendo patria, pero aquí estamos. Vicente, tus últimas 2 peleas fueron prueba de que el Silent Assassin hay para rato. Tras tu derrota ante Wonderboy Thompson, has lucido imparable, deteniendo a Nico Price y más recientemente a Randy Brown. ¿Podrías hablarme del impacto que tuvo en ti el enfrentamiento contra Steven Thompson?
Sí, para mí esta pelea con Thompson fue una donde aprendí mucho. Yo vi el nivel que están los 5 mejores de la división. Yo creo que es un nivel diferente y vi que yo puedo llegar a este nivel, pero tenía que hacer algunas correcciones, mejorar en algunas cosas y ganar más experiencia. Y eso creo que gané esas cosas ahora y hoy estoy preparado para pelear a este nivel y llegar a los 5 mejores y después a un título.
Bueno, son casi 3 años desde que peleaste en Chile como parte de UFC Santiago. En esa oportunidad finalizaste a Chad Laprise en el primer round de un Movistar Arena que estaba en llamas gritando tu nombre. Desde Santiago en adelante tuviste que lograr una racha de 4 victorias para poder cruzarte con alguien como Steven Thompson. Ahora, con una racha de 2 consecutivas, logras finalmente abrochar una pelea contra el ex campeón del mundo Tyron Woodley. ¿Sientes que ya entraste a ese punto en tu carrera donde serás más considerado para peleas de alto perfil?
Sí, eso siento. Yo creo que el estilo de pelea que tengo, las personas están empezando a reconocer, el UFC me está reconociendo por eso y creo que de ahora voy a seguir peleando con grandes nombres porque yo traigo un estilo que las personas quieren mirar, quieren ver mis peleas. Siempre que voy a pelear, yo tengo el apoyo de muchos fanáticos, de las personas de MMA, saben que va a ser una pelea con mucha agresión, con mucha actividad. Entonces, yo creo que eso me ayuda mucho y de ahora siento que voy a seguir subiendo la división.
Bueno, sobre la pelea del fin de semana, ¿sientes que se vuelve más peligroso enfrentarse a un Woodley que actualmente está un poquito contra la pared en su carrera?
Yo creo que sí, y yo creo que él viene muy agresivo para esta pelea, porque cuando uno está perdiendo las peleas, uno quiere ganar. Por lo menos yo soy así. Cuando pierdo con una pelea, eso me da mucho más ganas para entrenar y para llegar a mi próxima pelea y mostrar a todos que estoy mejor y que estoy de vuelta. Entonces eso imagino de Woodley. Yo creo que él viene muy agresivo para esta pelea, muy preparado y espero que así sea porque yo estoy preparado para el mejor Woodley posible.
Vicente, ¿y dónde consideras más peligroso a Woodley para este sábado? ¿Dónde crees tú que el peligro está en ti ahí?
Yo creo que él tiene 2 herramientas muy fuertes. Una es su wrestling, entonces él tiene un wrestling muy bueno que sí, él quiere usarlo y yo me imagino que use porque yo tengo un striking mejor. Yo tengo que estar preparado y así entrené mucho el wrestling y también la parte del suelo para poder pelear con él en esta parte y yo creo que él va a buscar. Y la mano derecha también es una cosa que él usa mucho, que pega muy duro con esta mano derecha, entonces tengo que estar mirando por eso, pero veo que para mí la mejor parte de la pelea va a ser de pie y si llegamos al piso voy a estar preparado también para buscar submisiones.
Vicente, ¿cómo ves este 2021 en términos profesionales? ¿Sientes que este es el año en que la división finalmente entra en alerta por Vicente Luque?
Creo que sí, creo que ya están empezando a mirar mi nombre con otros ojos. Ahora yo creo que la división ve que yo de verdad estoy acá para tomar una buena posición y seguir subiendo y luego creo que voy a pelear por el título. Entonces yo creo que este año es un año muy importante donde voy a hacer muchas cosas y mostrar a todos los fanáticos y a UFC y a los 8 luchadores que estoy acá para ser campeón.
Finalmente, Vicente, ¿tienes algún mensaje para tus fans en Chile? Porque seguro van a estar mirando este sábado, vamos a estar todos metiendo ruido.
Sí, para mí es muy especial tener Chile conmigo, tener todo el apoyo de los fanáticos chilenos. Es un orgullo tener las raíces chilenas y cargar el sangre de mi papá todas las veces que entro al octágono y representar este estilo latino de pelear. Es la manera que peleo con mucha agresividad, con muchas ganas de ganar. Y entonces agradecer a todos los fanáticos y pedirles que me estén apoyando el sábado de noche porque voy a darles un gran espectáculo.
Eso es lo que esperamos todos, Vicente. Muchas gracias por tu tiempo, éxito y viva Chile. Cuídate.
Gracias a ti, cuídate.
Thank you so much, Vicente. That is all the time we had for you, sir. We appreciate it.
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next up, we will be joined by the last athlete for the day, former UFC welterweight champion Tyron Woodley. We now welcome former UFC welterweight champion and current number 7 ranked contender Tyron Woodley. Tyron, thank you for the time today, sir.
No worries. How you guys doing?
Good, thank you. We will take the first set of questions from Luis Green with MMA Crazy.
Hi, Tyron. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. So you're taking on Vicente Luque, who's currently ranked number 10 in the division. He's very different to your last 3 opponents that you faced. What did you think when they initially put forward his name to you?
What I thought initially is that this is a fight that, he can bring out a lot of the old Tyron. And I welcome that challenge, and I welcome him as an opponent.
And what do you think he brings to the table in terms of the style matchup here?
Just pace, good IQ, good striking, good exchanges, resilience, conditioning, and he's just always in it to the end of the fight.
Yeah, and of course the last 3 didn't go your way. What have your takeaways been from those 3 fights?
Just reshift my focus and put myself in a position where I can go out there and perform to the level that I'm capable and that you guys are used to seeing me perform at.
And what's the mindset going into this one? Do you feel like your back is up against the wall? Do you feel any pressure to get back into the win column?
I think I've always felt like my back was against the wall. Even when I was a champion, I felt like my back was against the wall. And for me, I think it was more important for me to just focus on performance, and I focus on everything I worked on and actually doing it for a damn change in the octagon. So that's more the focus and the mindset, and just being willing to be violent from top position, getting up from bottom, striking, exchanges, open, pressing forward, all those different things. That's kind of where my mindset is at, and that's the takeaway I can take away from the last fights that didn't happen.
Yeah. And is the goal still for you to get back to the title?
The goal for me is to get back to the top and to perform. And I think with great performances is always going to put me in position to be right there. Won 5 world title fights, so you can never dismiss me.
Yeah, and obviously not to look past Vicente at all, but with Usman and Masvidal too coming up, how do you see that fight going down?
That fight going down, I don't know. I'm gonna root for Masvidal just because he's my homie. But it's a good fight, and we all know what Usman's capable of doing. He beat him once, and though Masvidal didn't have 6 or 7 days notice to go and fight him, he's always training, and I think Usman also had to prepare for a very, very different opponent as well. So they both gonna have more time to prepare for each other. I think it'll be a good fight, but if I had to pull for somebody, of course I'm gonna pull for Masvidal.
Okay, well thanks so much for the time. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
We will take the next set of questions from Jim Barcelone with the Miami Herald.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm curious how training camp went for you. And those last 4 fights really have been really big fights for you, and it's nothing new to you. But did you prepare any differently for this one? How did training camp go? What was the process for this one?
Training camp for all my fights was great. I really pushed through the wire on all of them. And for some reason, the performances in my last 3 didn't showcase what I actually did, the preparation I put into the fight. This time, we incorporated a little bit more of the mindset and really talking through, what are you thinking right now? What were you thinking in these moments in the fight? And, what are you thinking walking out to the fight? Just really living with the moments, because sometimes we try to erase and we try not to act like those are real. Those are very, very real emotions, and they control how you fight and whether you go or whether you hold back. So I think just being realistic with my last couple of fights and really addressing them and facing them during this training camp allowed me to dig deeper.
Who did you bring with you? Who's going to be in your corner for this one?
Daryl Cobb, Eric Brown, Dean Thomas will be in the corner. But I got a lot of people praying for me that'll be there in spirit.
Yeah, you have a good camp, good training team. You've always had that. It's really good to see. What are your thoughts of just how everything is progressing for you and trying to get yourself back in the win column, per se?
I got a lot of people that reached out to help. Jake Shields reached out one to help me out. Even Jake Ellenberger, all these different people that I either could have fought in the past. Tony McKee did a great job, especially with the mental part, putting me in situations that, were very uncomfortable and making me fight through it and really challenging me. My training partner, Daryl Cobb, was there with me their entire time. It really was a positive mindset on just ridding the distractions and focusing really on the task at hand and getting your rest and getting your sleep and not allowing outside things to come into your training and your space. And Dean is always solid. He's been consistent across the board. Did more boxing sparring this time than I've done in a long time. So Eric Brown really pushed me in that, sparring pro boxers and body types like Vicente and volume like Vicente. He's just really going out there and putting on a show. So for me, some of the same, a couple things new, but mainly the mental aspect is probably the newest addition.
It's interesting too, because mental is so much part of all combat sports. I'm curious for you, this big fight coming up, another big fight for you. How do you get hyped up for it? How do you get jacked up for it? Is it still feel as good as it did? Just get ready for the fight and get into the fight, and any butterflies?
Definitely is nerves, the butterflies, nerves that I'm actually going to go out there and do it. I'm actually going to perform. You know, I've been waiting on this performance for myself for a long time. And it's nervous to know that you mentally are there and physically are there and everybody's there with you and everything's lining up. It comes to free will. I got to go out there and I got to actually own the moment. And I got to just basically know that it's mine. And I'm nervous more about that than even the opponent.
Well, all the best. You're a great professional and appreciate the time.
Thank you, guys.
We will take the next set of questions from Colin Crandall with the MMA Power Hour.
Hey, Tyron, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Excellent. So thanks for your time, my friend. Really excited to see you in this fight. What do you think about a 3-round fight, man? It's been many years since you were scheduled for just 3 rounds.
You know, I didn't think about it because sometimes I'm just getting started in 3 rounds. So it just takes for me to really think about this as a sprint, less known as a 5-round. You don't have the 1 round to kind of fill it out, to pick your shots, to kind of see what the guy's going to bring to the table. You kind of got to come out the block sprinting. So I think a 5-round fight is a sprint too. It's closer to like a 400-meter, 800-meter sprint, but this is like a 200-meter sprint where, getting out the gate is important and, leaning on your technique and your ability to scramble and winning all the positions. Before you know it, it's going to get close to the end of the fight. And then you just bite down on your mouth guard and just let it fly and just forget how your body feels. So I remember these 3-round fights. I did really well in them. And, I'm excited to get back out there.
Absolutely. So you have one common recent opponent in Wonderboy. Did you look a little bit at Vicente's fights with Wonderboy, and can you get anything from that?
Yeah, but it's different. Wonderboy fights so uniquely. It's hard for me to look at Wonderboy because if I'm looking at an opponent, I'm probably going to look at somebody that's body style is kind of like mine and fight style is kind of similar to mine and how he did against them and what was his game plan. Wonderboy is very difficult to come up with a game plan. I know that very, very well for myself and spending, 50 minutes in the octagon with him. So, but one thing I saw that he did get a little bit frustrated with the variety, but he never stopped pushing forward. He never stopped coming after him. So the biggest takeaway in that fight is that I think Wonderboy just hit him with some stuff he wasn't ready for. He outscored him, and he ran out of time to win that fight, but he never stopped trying.
Absolutely. It seems like only in this later part of your career are you fighting Brazilians. I looked, and I think you had Andre Galvao in your first 20 fights, and now you're going to be on your 3rd Brazilian opponent in the last couple of years. What do you think about the guys from Brazil in general? Are there any similarities in their fighting style and passion and fighting spirit?
You mean besides the fact they started the UFC?
There you go. Absolutely. Very good point. I see early on in your career you actually had some submissions. This is the first kind of more striker that you've fought in a while. Any chance we'll see Tyron Woodley looking for some of those submissions?
He's a submitter as well. I don't know if you've seen some of his dart chokes and rear naked choke and guillotine chokes. He's very long, 75.5-inch reach. And guys go for takedowns. He's always looking to get around their neck in some form or fashion. So I think he's a mixed martial artist completely. He just chooses to do the striking because, one, is funner for you guys to watch. Gets more performance bonuses in the pushing position to fight bigger fights. So I do think he probably trains a lot of grappling as well.
Okay. Last question for me. Where does this fight rank in terms of importance in fights in your career?
It's the most important fight right now. You know what I mean? I can look back and I can, look at my glory days and I can look at bad moments as well. But right now, this is the one that's in front of me. And in the past, the Usman fight, the Gilbert fight, the Kobe fight wasn't the most important fight. And I think that's partly to do with the performance I had. But this fight is the biggest fight.
Absolutely. Well, good luck and thanks for your time.
Thank you.
We will take the last set of questions from Hunter Brownstein with MMA Weekly.
Hey, Tyron, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
First question I wanted to ask you was, how does it feel to get moved up into the co-main event spot of this pay-per-view?
I didn't even know that until yesterday. So same fight, same stakes at hand for me. So I wasn't really too focused on it.
You said recently that you're tired of watching yourself lose. What do you think is the most important adjustment you have to make to properly adjust your mentality against Vicente to make sure that doesn't happen?
Just exercising free will. I had the chance in each fight to win. I had the chance to throw punches. I had the chance to move forward. I had the chance to defend better. I had the chance to, be first. And I chose not to for whatever reason. So just unlocking those reasons why, I think those are very personal to me and my camp. Of course, I want to share those with you guys, but I feel like I've unlocked those things.
Right. Do you feel like you have to take a certain sense of initiative with this fight?
I think I should do that with every fight. I think when I do best is when I'm first, when I take the fight to my opponent. So I think that's just something that has to be from now to the rest of my career.
What does an ideal 2021 look like for you?
Just going out there and performing like a motherfucker in every fight, nonstop, and just going out there and just doing what I can do and showing people what I'm capable of and reminding them of how dangerous I really am.
Appreciate the time, Tyron. Good luck on Saturday. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Tyron. And that concludes today's virtual media day. We would like to thank everyone for participating and your supporting coverage. We will distribute video downloads from today's events to your emails as soon as they are available. A reminder, the UFC 260 press conference takes place tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific and will stream on all UFC platforms.